What's up, guys? So today I want to talk about the mindset that enabled me to go from zero to multiple seven figures in 3.5 years. And to be honest with you, I'm going to make this one a shorter one, but there's this really cool concept that I want to give you that really, really helps me, not helped me, but helps me because I still use it when it comes to dealing with the amount of pain and suffering and hard shit that you're gonna go through when you're building any company, like any at all, right? So, a little background. I worked more than 9 shitty jobs before I ever became an entrepreneur. After those 9 shitty jobs, I joined the Marine Corps, and I was a Marine, United States Marine. Still am. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Still a Marine. Went through 4 years of that, which was freaking awesome. And then way, way, way before that, I grew up. I had a really unique childhood. I grew up on the good side of town for half of my life, and then I grew up on literally like the worst side of town for half of my life. So I had the ability to see like rich people growing up and like wealth, and then I also had the ability to see, impoverished people and ghetto and gangs and selling drugs and this kind of stuff, right? So I had that type of a mindset. I had that type of a childhood and upbringing and past history before I became an entrepreneur. One thing that I took from my childhood is I used to be obsessed with video games, and this is what the video is going to be about today, is looking at your business like a video game. I remember when I used to play video games, I had my Xbox, and I remember like I used to play this game called Call of Duty, which is basically a warfare game. Where you can play multiplayer, you can do challenges. There's different game modes that you can play where you just compete, right? And there's leaderboards and things like this. Well, in Call of Duty, there's this one mindset that I took, is that every single gun that you get in the game, you can actually like upgrade the gun to have these certain camouflages like diamond, gold, tiger, etc. And I remember it was like my goal. I always wanted to be number one on the leaderboard, and I always wanted to make every single gun diamond camo, because you had to get like 1,000 headshots, which is really hard to do. You had to like have a certain amount of kills with it. You had to get a certain kill streak with it, whatever. You had to get a certain amount of people killed basically within a certain time frame, whatever. And I remember as a kid, because I was going through certain things in my mind, like I was going through a lot of stress as a kid, and I experienced not really having a father figure, this type of stuff. I literally used video games and mastering my video game and maxing my character out, my guns out, as my escape. Like that was my childhood escape, and I literally got so freaking good at that video game. I was always number one. I was always, just so good because I was so obsessed. I remember I would obsess over it, and that was just my thing as a kid. And obviously, you grow up in life, you stop playing video games, and I realized that I ended up finding that same similar obsession, but with business. Because in business, it's very similar to that video game, right? You compete, you can upgrade your character, you can master certain things, you can unlock certain features in your business that you wouldn't have otherwise had by learning, by investing, by failing a million times, by trying over and over and over again, right? And so I now look at my business like a video game. I look at it like Call of Duty. And in business, there's all these things you have to master. There's hiring, there's culture development, there's leadership, there's marketing and advertising, there's sales, there's fulfillment, there's back-end operations, there's back-end upsells, there's increasing lifetime value of customers. There's so many things you have to master. And, I heard from a video on Alex Hormozi, which Alex Hormozi is this, crazy big entrepreneur. You probably already know who Alex Hormozi is, of course. The guy literally said it. He goes, there's not even I've mastered business. Nobody masters business. There's always things to learn. And I agree with that. Like, it's just this bottomless pit. Like, business is this bottomless pit that you'll never, ever be able to fully understand and learn, because there's just always something that you have to figure out, right? And so, I don't know. Like, I always tell myself, I wish there was like a tracker or like a leaderboard I had of like how many problems I've solved and how many like failures and lessons I've had. Because, dude, if there was like a number board that I could show you on this call today, it'd be like probably thousands, dude, like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. And every successful person has failed over and over again and has fallen on their face over and over again. And only the ones that persevere are the ones that actually win. And, I coach insurance agents for a living. It's kind of what I do. It's what my company does. And one thing that I notice of the clients that really struggle is that they kind of whine and complain over like the smallest little things. And when I see that, I'm like, all right, we're going to have a tough client experience, because anytime you have a client that's like whining over little things, you just know they're not going to be able to get over the big things, right? And anytime when I was first starting my business that things would go south, or, I would invest in things that wouldn't work out or whatever, I just remember I always had a positive attitude, and I would always look at it from like a positive perspective, because Literally anything that goes wrong in your life, good or bad, like there's always something good you can get from it if you search long enough and hard enough. And if you can change your mindset to be more resilient in what you face on a daily basis, that's going to allow you to achieve things faster. Because when a human being makes things more complex than they need to be, there's more time wasted worrying, complaining, and not finding solutions. And so, a really big principle that I took is success loves speed. And so, I'm always, always, always solving problems really fast. And I remember one of my 9-figure mentors told me, he said, Dylan, your ability to solve problems really fast is going to determine how fast you get to the good stuff. And so, anytime I'm faced with a plethora of problems, which like every day right now, we're running a lot of money on ads, we're always staffing, there's always things breaking on us, there's always problems. I just don't complain anymore. In fact, I literally just look at it like a video game, like a puzzle. And I look at everything as data, and I no longer wrap myself emotionally into things that are crushing or not working or falling apart, etc. Because if you do, you're setting yourself up for a very, very painful experience, which is my point now, right? So when things are going wrong in your business, when things are falling apart, you got to understand that's part of the process. And you have to learn to detach yourself from every single bad thing that happens, because you're going to get faced with like literally every bad thing that you can come up with. I mean, staff leaving on you, people quitting on you, people trying to steal your stuff, lawsuits. You're going to deal with competitors and bad competitors that are going to steal your stuff, or bad competitors are trying to backlash you, spam attacks, cybersecurity attacks, people trying to screw up your advertising, wasted ad dollars, rejected ad accounts that you have to figure out how to get it back, a banned Instagram account, a system breaking on you, a hiring process you spent hours developing that doesn't even develop the result that you wanted. I mean, dude, like the list of problems just gets, not only does it get longer, but the problems get bigger as well. And so every problem that happens to me now, I just look at it like it's part of this game. And I need to solve that problem, and I need to find a solution for that problem so I can get to the next level. And if you look at your business like that, as, hey, this is normal, I'm seeing this as a game, I'm seeing it as a puzzle to solve or a puzzle piece to solve, and I'm the player in this game, and I get to the next level once I solve this layer of problems, it just becomes like this thing that is not necessarily fun per se, but it's more so like you have a detached experience with it. So that ways you don't personalize your failures. You don't, when you fall really hard on your face, you're not like, killing your identity. Because I'll tell you what, when I first, like my first 2 years in business especially, I used to tie my identity to my business, to my income, to my revenue, to all these different things that are genuinely out of my control. And I spent a lot of years losing hair because I would do that. And you got to understand that the business is a breathing thing. It's a living entity. It's like a literal living, breathing thing. And it's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to go sideways, left, right, upside down, and all around. That's business. It's extremely volatile. It's not this thing that just like goes up and to the right all the times. Like if you look at any really successful company that has that hockey stick style of growth, that's over like decades. But if you zoom in on that level of growth that they had, it's always the beginning years where it's just like so volatile, up and down, and all around. Because again, especially if you're a new founder starting off from a bootstrap perspective and you have $0 and you're starting from nothing, no entrepreneurs, no handouts, no loans, no angel investors, none of that, like you genuinely just have to make it out and you have to scratch your way out, right? And so this is a perspective that I wanted to pass to you watching this, whoever watches this, because not just in business, but in life itself, problems are going to happen. There's always going to be a laundry list of problems. And you got to understand that somebody that you know or somebody that you don't know is going through something 100 times worse than you. And if you saw that person's problems, you'd want to keep yours. And just remind yourself that when you're going through a really hard time, when you're wanting to quit, when you're starting to doubt this whole process and you're starting to fear everything, and you're kicking your own ass because you're giving yourself a hard rap because your revenue's down for the month or whatever, or people just quit on you, or people ghosted you, or people are no-showing you, or you're getting rejected all the time. Like, just know this is part of your process. It's part of the divine, godly refinement period that you have to go through so you can get what God has given for you on the other side of that. And I promise you, if you take this mindset and you adapt to it, it's going to allow you to experience less pain and less of that ripple effect and the tide effect when things are upside down for you, right? Learn to separate your identity and your worth and your personality from your business, from your money, from your income, from your ability to lead, your ability to win. Because at the end of the day, guys, like in business and in life, it's going to go up and down, and it's going to be very volatile. And if you attach yourself to that, you're genuinely setting yourself up for years of suffering and pain, which, by the way, those two things come with business no matter what. But you just have to know, again, how to detach yourself. So hopefully that's helpful, guys. Just wanted to share perspective on kind of, how I look at my business and how I look at things that go up and down. And it's been very helpful for my growth. It's allowed me to, be very resilient throughout the years and navigate through literally some of the toughest challenges that I've ever been in my life. So hopefully that's helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.